Okay, so we are actually going to do our next video on our 5-minute face. And I know a lot of you, either you or your consultants, have received the Dream Start Kit, which is our 5-minute face, or they've recruited their first consultant and they've got their brushes. So they've gotten these things and they're going, okay, well, what in the world do I do with this? So we're going to show you exactly what you can do. So in your 5-minute face kit, what you're generally going to get, and currently what might be different in yours is what was in the one we have. You're going to get a foundation, you're going to get a bronzer, you get a mascara, a lip gloss, an eyeliner, a primer, and your concealer. Additionally, you're probably going to have to pick up an eyeshadow. This one we're using. Pick out a color that speaks to you, that you think you want. I would go with something a little more neutral. It looks good on everyone. I wouldn't pick out a blue eyeshadow if you're doing a 5-minute face at a spa. Not everybody looks good with blue eyeshadow. So, what we're first going to do is we're going to take our, actually, I'm jumping ahead of myself, we're going to take our primer. Primer is really important because it's actually going to smooth out your skin. It's going to fill in those pores a little bit. It's going to make your foundation go on a lot better. If you think about it, when a painter paints a canvas, he doesn't just go straight to it and use paint. He uses a thing called gesso. It fills in the holes on the canvas. So it's kind of the same thought here. So I just take my finger, I apply a little bit in the 4 spots or 5 spots on my face. And then just take your hand. Depends on what state you're in. Some states don't allow you to do this, but you can use a sponge. I prefer to use my fingers. Just spread it out on the skin. They're really going to love this. It feels amazing on your skin. I don't know if you can speak to that at all, but
it feels like silk.
It feels like silk. It's a real luxurious part of it. It's gonna, especially at a spa, it's all about making people feel good. So get the primer on there. Next, since you're using a foundation color and you don't know that it's necessarily exactly what their foundation color is, when you use your concealer, you can apply it either on top or below. I would apply it below because if it's not exactly their color, it's going to be a little easier to cover up that fact. So she actually doesn't really need any concealer. You can judge based on that. So we're good there.
It's because I use the product.
See, exactly. There we have it. So next, when you're in a spa, I would apply your foundation with a brush rather than a sponge. These sponges are great for personal use. Problem is, you're going to run through them. You're adding extra cost to yourself. Why would you do that? So take your brush. It's also going to give you a little more sheer coverage. It takes a little bit of the nervousness out of applying makeup to somebody else's face when you use a brush. It's a little more forgiving. So just brush it on her face. If you get into a spot where you put too much on, just take your brush and really just kind of buff it out a little bit. I like to put it on the eyelid. You're going to put eyeshadow over the top of it, but eyeshadow blends better when it's on top of a powder or a primer. Try and be as gentle as possible with your brush strokes. If it's your own face, you can beat it as much as you want, but when you're using somebody else's face, I would be a little more gentle. And generally, I would say, put enough on that you notice a difference, but not so much that it's full coverage. This is going to, A, save you product, and B, kind of make it a little more, I don't know, dummy-proof. Makes it a little easier to control. So we've got her foundation on, and we're good to go. So that's with our big fluffy brush. Next thing what we want to do is we want to contour her face a little bit. This is what's going to bring some of that color and light back into your face. When you put one color foundation all over your face, you're really going to end up with kind of a masky look, and we don't want that. So when you're applying your contour, you're going to up here on the temples, darkest should be into the hairline. You're going to apply it where the sun hits your face. You don't want to do it all over your face. This is going to really give you that overly Jersey Shore look that we all know and maybe don't love.
No fist pumping.
No fist pumping, exactly. So we apply, you can go right across the forehead, right in the forehead line. This is really going to feminize your face, make things real pretty. Go underneath the cheekbone, starting back here in the back, and then moving out to the front. When you're at home, if you don't know where your cheekbone is or where you want to apply it, what you can really do is make a fish face. It's going to show you exactly where that cheekbone is. I wouldn't have your client do this. Nobody likes to look silly making fish faces at the spa, but for at home when you're learning how to do it, it's a great thing to do. So apply that there. Apply a little to the nose, a little sun kiss on the nose. I like to do it on the sides of the nose rather than straight on the top. That's going to leave you with your highlight down the middle. It's going to make your nose look a little thinner. If you apply it straight down the middle, you can, depending on how much you want, you can actually make your nose look wider than it really is. Additionally, I like to apply a little bronzer on the underside of the chin. This is going to help with any of that little extra fluff that we may have. It's going to help create a little bit of a shadow there and really thin out your face a little bit. It also helps with that line of demarcation where your makeup ends. It's going to help blend out that area. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take our eyeshadow, which we have our little fluffy angle brush here. I'm going to take our middle color here. It's kind of a peachy, shimmery color. Apply a little on your brush. Tap that off. You don't want as much as you might have. Really just kind of pack that onto the eyelid. I know your eyeshadow case is going to come with this little guy here. I generally don't use this. There's no real way to clean that, and so if you're using it on a client, you're wasting, really. B, this brush right here is great for, a touch-up, but if you're generally applying your makeup first, it doesn't blend the best. They're great in a pinch, they're great for yourself, I wouldn't use them on a client. A little more, we really just want to get that color on there. I like to do both eyes at the same time. It's a little easier to match them up if you do both steps at the same time. I just want to pounce that on there, get it right on the eyelid. Okay. We're going to clean out our brush. Always want to make sure you clean out your brush. You don't want to transfer that makeup over to other things. Then we're going to take a little bit of the black. We really want to be careful how much we put on because we're going for kind of a more neutral look. You don't want to scare anybody off with anything too crazy. So what we're going to do right here in the corner, right by the crease, is we're going to start right there. That's where you want your darkest point to be. I've got quite a bit on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to shift over to the other side. This is a great way to get rid of some of that makeup. Is put that there, so you put it in the corner. And then you really just want to start blending that out. Blend it up into the crease. Blend it out into the eye. A great thing to remember when you're applying your eyeshadow is try to remember a 45-degree angle here. It's going to raise your eye up. It's going to give you that nice cat eye look. Everybody looks attractive with that eyeshadow shape. There's a lot of different ways you can, and positions you can apply your eyeshadow in. This is one that's pretty much universally attractive and appealing to everyone. Use short little brush-like strokes. Just kind of pounce. If you get too much, just keep going. It'll work out. Maybe go back, add a little more, right in the corner. You really want to draw that attention out to the outside edge of your face. It's going to make your eyes seem bigger. It's going to make things a little more open. As I lean over the camera here, switch sides. Okay, so I'm going to clean out my brush real quick. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply our highlight color. What this is going to do is it's going to highlight the brow. It's also going to help us blend out that harsh line. You never want any harsh lines on your eyeshadow. It's really going to, if you think about a face, a human face doesn't have any harshness to it really. It's all soft lines. Even where you think you've got hard lines, you don't. So just add a little bit of your highlight here, right underneath the brow, right on that brow ridge. Blend out that makeup. Now, a little trick I like to use, and I know I said not to use this little brush, but this works great for this, is to really open up that eye. You're going to take your lightest highlight color, take a little bit of that color, and apply it right to the inner corner of the eye. Be really careful when you're doing this, don't whack them in the eye, but I don't know if you can see that, but it really opens up that eye and brings the light in there. There's that. So we've got the eyeshadow done. Next thing we want to do is we want to take our eyeliner. Again, for spa purposes, I wouldn't apply this ever to the waterline. You want to keep things out of people's eye. But I would apply it to the top line. What you're going to want to do is start about a third of the way out on the eye. You can pull a little bit taut. It makes things a little easier. Don't pull too hard. And just get that line right there on their lash line. Using as long of strokes as you possibly can. Again, making that triangle shape. You want it to start at a point about a third of the way out. Get a little wider as you go out. As close to the lash line as possible. You don't have to go real dramatic with this. The more dramatic you go, the more precise you have to be with it. So if you're really in a hurry and you're really doing that 5-minute face, you want to just make sure it's colored on there, but not overly done. So just pull a little bit. It's okay to rest your knuckle on their cheek, just do it softly. It's going to stabilize your hand, make it a little easier to apply. Okay, so we have our eyeliner on. Touch up that a little bit. Now, I wouldn't apply the eyeliner to the bottom. That's really going to be, again, a more dramatic look. You don't want to scare anybody off with anything too over the top. So next we're going to apply our mascara. Again, I would only apply it to the top, trying to keep things as simple as possible, using as little product as possible. This is your product, this is a business. We're trying to keep things, economical. So apply our mascara, just have them blink through. Try to avoid any clumps. If you get some clumps in there, again, you can take them out with your finger. Just pull your fingers through. Like I just did there.
Sorry.
That's okay. Just gently grab through. Don't really pull, but just kind of reshape. You're going to have a little straightness to the... After you pull through, it's going to straighten out the lash a little bit. So there we have that. Run through here. And last, to finish up, we are going to apply a little bit of lip gloss. The kit actually does not come currently with a lip liner. Lip liner is an extra step. It's great for defining lips, finishing lips, but not always necessary. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our disposable one. You never want to use the brush that came with it. You want to keep things as sanitary as possible. Same story with your mascara. Don't ever pump with your brush. Always swirl. You don't want to get air in there. Get that air in there and it's going to A, dry out your product, and B, promote bacteria growth. If you have it like I have, where you got it all up on the stick, you can actually take that and apply it to the lip like that, and then use your brush to blend that out. Glosses are great. They actually reflect the light. It's going to make your lips seem bigger. So it's another great thing with the gloss. This actually comes in your Dream Start kit. So we have our gloss on there. And then one last thing I like to do, say you got a little overzealous with your powder, or you're just wanting to really set that makeup in and make it look good, is to take your hydrating mist, which I'm sure you have. Give her a quick little spritz with the hydrating mist. What that's going to do, since we use the wet dry, it's going to melt down any of that extra powder. It's going to put it in her face, and it's really going to give her that nice dewy glow that we're going for. So with that, she can pull her hair down. We've got our 5-minute face done. There you have it. You have your 5-minute face. You got it with your Dream Start kit. You recruited your first consultant. You got your brushes, and you are well on your way to making some money doing glam spas.